All right, so here we are, right here in this moment together, talking about something so powerful, so immense, that it has the ability to reshape everything you thought was possible. What if I told you that every single thought you have is a blueprint? That every idea you hold in your mind, whether it's one of fear, doubt, joy, or courage, is a plan you are laying down brick by brick for the life you're building. Because that is the truth. Every thought, each tiny, quiet idea is a design you're carving out for your reality. Now imagine what would happen if you began every day by creating this blueprint consciously, purposefully. Just think about the limitless potential that could unfold if you took a few minutes each morning to become the architect of your mind, to consciously decide, this is the vision I'm going to hold. This is the impossible that I'm going to make inevitable. See, here's the thing, the mind is a fertile ground, but it doesn't pick and choose for you. Whatever you plant in it, it will grow. This is the simple, powerful law of the mind. Think of your thoughts as seeds, because that's exactly what they are. It's the blueprint you're willing to lay down day by day. Because let me tell you something extraordinary, every thought you think is a conversation with the universe. And the universe listens. When you say, I am worthy, it responds. When you say, I can't, it listens just as well. So why not make it a habit to start each day speaking with the universe, designing your mind's architecture with thoughts that inspire, empower, uplift? You might wonder, but how do I design something I can't even see yet? How do I build a life I can't touch with my hands? Here's where the magic happens, my friends. You don't need to see the final structure, you just need to start with the first layer, the foundation. Begin with what you can imagine. See yourself achieving the impossible, hold that image, and watch how the building rises step by step. Let me give you an example. Have you ever tried to plant a garden? Maybe you have a tiny seed, and for days or even weeks you see nothing, just earth, just soil. You water it, you care for it, but there's no visible sign that anything's happening. And yet beneath the surface, the magic of growth is unfolding. Roots are forming, sprouting, reaching down for nourishment. And one day that tiny seed breaks the surface and a new life appears. Your thoughts are no different. Every day that you sit in silence, that you envision, that you create this blueprint, you're laying down the foundation for your future. You may not see the results right away, but that doesn't mean they aren't happening. Every thought, every mental rehearsal, every affirmation, it's all a part of the architecture you're building. So right now, I want you to imagine what your impossible looks like. Visualize it clearly. Maybe for you, it's the idea of starting a business, writing a book, finding the love of your life, or becoming the person you know you were meant to be. Whatever it is, don't hold back. Picture it so vividly that you can feel it. Feel the excitement, the joy, the certainty that it's real, because the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined when you bring the energy of belief into it. And now I want you to lay this down as your blueprint. Start each day by nurturing this thought, seeing it as already done, as already part of you. Because here's the real secret: the universe responds to your conviction, not just to your desire. It's the certainty that creates, it's the knowing that makes it real. I know some of you are thinking, but I have doubts. I don't feel like I'm capable. Let me tell you, we all have those voices in our minds, the whispers of fear, of I can't, but those thoughts are simply leftovers of past conditioning. They're like shadows cast by an old, outgrown self. They have no real power unless you give it to them. So instead, start every day with thoughts that empower you. Feed the vision, not the fear. And when doubt arises, when those old habits try to pull you back, just remember, each time you reaffirm your vision, each time you hold fast to your impossible, you're creating a stronger and stronger foundation. The mind is a tool, and like any tool, it can be sharpened, trained, refined. And the best way to do that is to make it a routine. Think of how often we go through life repeating thoughts of worry, scarcity, or self-doubt. Imagine if you took that same habit of repetition and used it to empower yourself. Just imagine what would happen if each morning you laid down a blueprint that said, I am limitless, I am capable. I am worthy. You'd start to build an architecture so strong that the impossible would feel not just probable, but inevitable. And let me tell you, it's not just about positive thinking. This is about shifting your energy, aligning your mind with the truth of who you are. You are a powerful creator. Every one of us has within us a deep, innate ability to shape our world, but it begins with the thoughts we allow ourselves to believe. Right now, let go of who you think you are. Let go of yesterday's limitations. Look at yourself with fresh eyes. Imagine if, for the next 30 days, you committed to laying down this mental blueprint every single morning. Imagine waking up and spending just 5 minutes visualizing, creating, feeling your impossible goal as if it were already a part of you. Because the truth is, once you make this a habit, once you make this your routine, the impossible will start to manifest in ways that will astound you. Doors will open where there were walls, opportunities will appear where there was once only empty space. And it won't be a miracle, it will be the natural result of the architecture you've been building within. So let's make a choice. Let's decide that every day from now on, we're going to lay down a blueprint of possibility, not limitation. Let's commit to planting only the seeds we want to grow, to designing a life so full, so expansive, that even the impossible feels small in comparison. And as you start this journey, remember you are as limitless as the universe itself. Every thought you lay down is a building block in a reality that is uniquely, powerfully yours. Let's make it one worth living. Let's make it one where the impossible becomes inevitable. All right, here we are, and I want to talk to you about something we often overlook, yet it holds immense power in our lives. What I'm about to share may sound simple, but I assure you this concept can open doors to miracles of transformation. Here's what I want you to realize: routine isn't just repetition, it's a ritual of faith. Now think about that for a moment. It's not just going through the motions. When you make something your routine, when you choose to practice it over and over again, you're sending a message to the universe, a message to your soul that you're ready. You're ready for miracles again and again. You see, we live in a world where we've been taught to look for fast results, quick fixes. But the beauty of routine, the magic in the ritual, lies in the waiting, the patience, the gentle persistence. Every time you come back to your routine, every time you show up to that practice, whether it's meditation, gratitude, setting your intentions, or just a moment of quiet each morning, you're declaring, I believe in what I'm building, even if I can't see it yet. You're putting faith into action, and when you do that, you open yourself up to receive what you may have once thought impossible. Let me tell you, the universe is not impressed by grand gestures or bursts of inspiration that fade after a few days. The universe responds to consistency, to those small, repeated acts that say, I'm here and I'm committed. Each time you show up, you're building a foundation, a structure that can hold the miracles you're calling into your life. Think of routine as planting seeds. You don't dig them up every day to check if they're growing. No. You water them, you nourish them, and you trust that life is happening beneath the soil, even if you can't see it. Here's something radical to consider. What if every time you return to your routine, every time you committed to that small act of faith, you were weaving together a connection between you and the entire universe? Because that's exactly what you're doing. Routine isn't just habit, it's an alignment. It's saying, I'm here and I'm ready to receive what is meant for me. And when you think about it this way, when you see routine as a ritual of faith, it becomes sacred. It's no longer just something you do because you have to, or because someone told you it's good for you. It becomes an act of devotion, a daily conversation with the universe, a moment where you say, I believe in what I'm creating. It's powerful stuff. It's like setting a silent beacon, a light that says, I'm ready for the miracles meant for me. I know what you're thinking, but Wayne, what if I don't feel like it some days? What if I'm tired or I doubt that it's even working? Let me tell you, those moments are the most important. When you're tired, when you're doubting, that's when you need the routine the most. Because that's where faith truly comes into play. Anyone can show up when things are going well, when life feels good. But true transformation happens when you show up on the hard days, when you don't see any results yet, when the world around you seems to be moving in the opposite direction. That's when you are saying to the universe, I trust, I believe, and I am ready. Think about it, how many things in your life have come to fruition because you decided to stick with them, even when you couldn't see the end result? Look back on your life and recognize those moments where you stayed consistent, where you made the choice to return again and again and again, despite the doubts, despite the uncertainties. Those are the moments that shape us. And those routines, they're the bedrock of a life filled with miracles. And let's get practical for a second here. A lot of people think routine has to be this big formal thing, but really it's about simplicity. It can be as simple as sitting quietly with yourself for 5 minutes every morning, as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for each night. It's not the act itself, it's the intention, the energy you bring to it, the message you send to yourself and to the universe. Here's something else to keep in mind. Routines build resilience. They teach you how to stay steady in the face of life's ups and downs. Life will always have its waves, its highs and lows, but when you have a practice, a daily touchstone, you're anchored. You have something to hold on to, something that grounds you. It's in those moments, in those simple acts, that you start to realize miracles aren't as far away as you once thought. Routine isn't about sticking to a schedule, it's about creating a sacred space where miracles can unfold. Because when you commit to your practice, when you come back to it every day, you're doing something more than just showing up. You're telling the universe, I'm ready, I'm here, I'm open, and the universe responds to that openness, that faith. It says, all right, I see you and I'm going to meet you halfway. So here's what I invite you to do. Pick something, anything that resonates with you, and make it your daily practice. It doesn't matter if it's meditation, journaling, movement, or simply sitting with yourself and breathing deeply for a few minutes. Whatever you choose, let it be something you can come back to again and again. Not because you're expecting immediate results, but because you're building a life of faith, a life where miracles become not just possible, but inevitable. And here's the beauty, you don't have to do it perfectly. There will be days when you miss it, days when you're not feeling it, and that's okay. The point isn't perfection. The point is the act of returning, of recommitting. Routine is powerful because it reminds you of what's possible, even when the world around you may seem to suggest otherwise. It's a reminder that the impossible is just something that hasn't happened yet. So take a moment right now and think about what you want to create. Imagine it as clearly as you can. Hold it in your mind, and then start to see your routine, your daily practice, as the path to get there. Each day, as you return to this practice, as you commit to this ritual, you're laying down the steps that will lead you to that vision. Because the truth is, miracles aren't out of reach. They're just waiting for you to create the space for them to enter. And every time you honor your routine, every time you show up to that ritual of faith, you're opening the door. You're making it known that you're ready. And when you're ready, there's nothing that can hold back the miracles that are meant for you. Imagine for a moment that every single thing you've ever wanted, every dream, every wish, every goal has been right here, waiting for you all along. Not somewhere far away, not in some distant reality, but right here in the present, ready to come alive. See, we spend so much time chasing what we want, so much energy on striving and grasping and reaching that we forget one of the most profound truths of creation: you don't need to chase what's meant for you. Invite it, let it flow into your life by embodying the energy of what you seek every single day. Let's get into it. When you want something really, truly want it, it's natural to feel like you need to go out and make it happen. Maybe you think, I have to work harder, I have to strategize, I have to figure out the next step. And yes, effort has its place, but what if I told you that the energy of trying and chasing often pushes that dream further away? You see, when you chase, you affirm that what you want is separate from you, that it's something you don't yet have. But when you invite, when you embody the essence of that dream, you bring it into your present. You make it real here and now. So how do we do this? How do we make the impossible show up in our lives, not by pursuing it, but by embodying it? Here's where the magic of energy comes in, and this is where you get to step into a powerful new way of living. Every single day, you have the choice to live as though your dream is already true. Start being the person who already has what they're seeking. Start thinking, feeling, and acting as though what you want is here now. Think about it like this: if you want to attract love into your life, start by embodying love. Don't just hope for it. Don't just look for it in someone else. Become it. Live from a place of love, kindness, and compassion. Show up each day as someone who feels complete, full, and radiates love, because when you're in that state, guess what happens? You become a magnet for it. Love isn't something out there, it's something within you waiting to expand. The same goes for any dream. If you want abundance, start showing up as someone who already feels abundant. Not in a fake way, not as if you're pretending, but in a way that feels true to your core. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to embody abundance. When you feel gratitude, even for the small things, you're tuning into the frequency of abundance. And as you do this, you invite more abundance into your life. You're telling the universe, I am already grateful, I am already fulfilled, and I am ready for more of this beautiful energy to flow. Here's a hook for you. Imagine every moment of your day is a vibration. Each thought, each feeling, each action is a ripple in the field of your reality. When you think a thought of doubt or fear, it creates a ripple of that energy. But when you think a thought of possibility, of joy, of alignment, that's what ripples out instead. And let me tell you, the universe responds to that vibration like a track select. When you're living in the energy of what you seek, you're creating a magnetic pull that draws it right into your life. Let's get real with an example. Imagine you're dreaming of financial freedom. It feels far off, like something just out of reach, and so you begin to chase it. You think of ways to make more money. You start feeling anxious about your finances. You try to control every penny, believing that by doing so you'll get closer to that freedom. But this is the paradox. The more you chase financial freedom, the more you affirm that you don't have it, and that vibration of lack keeps you in a state of not enough. Instead, try this. Embody the feeling of financial freedom every single day, even if your external circumstances haven't yet changed. What does financial freedom feel like in your body? Is it a feeling of peace, of expansiveness, of ease? Find that feeling within you right now and live from that place. Spend with joy, give with generosity, even if it's small, because those actions put you in the vibration of abundance. And as you embody that freedom, watch how opportunities, ideas, and unexpected gifts start flowing your way. You see, you are never separate from the energy of what you seek. The universe doesn't keep your dreams locked away, hidden in some far-off land. It's here, all around you, just waiting for you to be open to receiving it. But you must align with it, become it, and let go of the idea that it's something you must fight for. Instead of striving, move into the energy of already having, already being. And yes, I know this may feel a bit counterintuitive. We've been taught to hustle, to chase, to push ourselves to the limit in pursuit of our dreams. But what if that's not the way it's meant to work? What if the truest path to your dreams is not through striving, but through inviting, through living from a place of pure, unshakable faith that it's already yours? I want you to try this. Tomorrow morning, instead of thinking about what you need to do to make it happen, ask yourself, who do I need to be today to invite my dreams into reality? Ask, what energy can I embody right now that aligns with the life I want to live? But let that be your compass. And then let go of the outcome, let go of the need to control every step, and simply live in that energy. Because here's the secret: when you become the person who already has what you want, the universe can't help but respond. It must bring into your life the people, the situations, and the opportunities that match your vibration. It's time to release the need to chase, to strive, to struggle. Instead, make it your daily practice to step into the energy of what you want. It's a way of living that's filled with peace, with ease, and with a powerful sense of connection to the flow of life. When you embody your dreams, they stop being distant possibilities and start becoming your everyday reality. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to have your dreams here and now? How would you stand? How would you speak? How would you speak? How would you think? Go ahead, try it right now. Feel that energy, breathe it in, let it fill you. And as you go forward, let that energy be your guide. Don't chase your dreams, invite them. Live as though they're already here, and watch how they show up in ways more wonderful than you ever imagined. Imagine just for a moment what it would be like if you could effortlessly become the person you've always dreamed of. If you could wake up each morning knowing that you're steadily growing into that vision, becoming it more and more with every breath, every step, every choice. Because here's a little secret for you: what you do consistently, you become unconsciously. Now, let's dive into that truth. Think of the habits you already have in place, the things you do without even thinking. Maybe you reach for your phone the first thing in the morning. Maybe you say, I'll get to that someday, when faced with something that could truly change your life. These are habits that, through repetition, have become part of who you are. They've woven themselves into the fabric of your reality. And guess what? The same can be true for your dreams. If you make them a habit, if you treat them as naturally as breathing, they will weave themselves right into your life. So here's the invitation: make your dreams your routine. Imagine what would happen if you made your wildest ambitions as regular, as natural as brushing your teeth every morning. Because that's the truth we're diving into today. Whatever you do consistently, you become. And not just consciously, you become it unconsciously. It starts as something you have to remind yourself to do, something you have to work toward, but eventually it becomes second nature. Just think about that for a moment. Think about a small dream you've had, maybe one you've picked up and put down countless times. It could be learning a new skill, growing closer to someone, changing something about yourself you're ready to shed. What would happen if you turned that dream into a daily practice? Just imagine that for a moment. Picture yourself day after day, putting in small steps, small actions, barely noticeable even. You start to lay that dream down bit by bit until it's just part of your rhythm, as natural as breathing. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to make giant, heroic leaps. Real transformation doesn't come from one grand gesture. No, it's built in the quiet moments, in the ordinary choices we make every day. Think of it like water shaping a rock. Drop by drop, over time, that water will carve through stone, no matter how solid and unmovable it seems. Your consistent action, even in the tiniest doses, has that same power. Every small effort you make toward your dream is carving it into reality. You know, sometimes people say, but that's not who I am. I've always been this way. It's just not in my nature. But think about that for a moment. What really is your nature? Most of the time, it's simply the habits and beliefs that you've repeated so many times they've become invisible. They've become your automatic, your unconscious. But here's the incredible part: you can create a new nature. You can choose what you want to become your automatic. Here's a story that brings this home. Years ago, I knew someone who wanted to be more positive, more resilient in the face of challenges, but they had this strong belief that they were just not an optimist. Every morning they'd wake up with the same heaviness, the same skepticism about the day, but they were committed to changing this, so they made one simple shift. Every morning before even getting out of bed, they would think of one thing they were grateful for, one tiny thing that brought them joy or comfort. Some days it was as simple as being thankful for a warm bed or a chance to try again. At first it felt forced, awkward, but as the days went by, it started to feel normal, natural, and soon enough that little practice turned into a routine, and then a habit, and then a habit, and then a part of who they were. That morning gratitude became an anchor, something that lifted their whole outlook. And that's the thing, the practice of their dream had become who they were. That dream of a more positive outlook wasn't just a goal, it was a daily practice that transformed them from the inside out. So let me ask you, what dream do you want to make a habit? What is that vision you have for yourself that could become part of your natural rhythm, something you do without thinking? Maybe it's as simple as dedicating 5 minutes each morning to write down a single intention, something you want to bring into the day. Maybe it's taking one small step each day towards something bigger. Because when you do these things consistently, you're sending a message to yourself and to the universe. This matters. This is who I am becoming. And there's something truly magical that happens when you make your dreams a habit. Your mind, that incredibly powerful tool, begins to see this dream as your reality. It becomes the lens through which you see the world. Because what you focus on, what you bring into your routine, becomes the foundation of your experience. Just like learning to drive a car or play an instrument, at first it takes all your focus, your attention. But eventually it becomes so natural that you do it without thinking. Imagine having that level of mastery over your dreams. You know, I often hear people say, I don't have the time, my days are too busy, and I get it, life can be overwhelming. But here's something to consider. You already have routines, little pockets of time each day where you're doing something unconsciously. Maybe it's the time you spend scrolling on your phone the moments you're waiting for your coffee to brew. What if you took just one of those little pockets of time and dedicated it to the life you want to create? You don't need hours, you just need a few moments of clear intention, repeated consistently. Here's a little practice to consider, something to try. Start your day with a vision, however small it might be. Picture yourself moving through the day with confidence, peace, clarity, whatever it is you want to bring into your life. Just 5 minutes of that kind of focus can change the whole tone of your day. You're programming your mind, telling it, this is what we're working toward. This is what I want to make automatic, and do it every day. No matter how you feel, no matter if you're tired or doubting, because over time your mind will begin to accept this vision as your truth. It will begin to work behind the scenes, making that vision your reality. Consistency is like a quiet revolution. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's incredibly powerful. And once you set it in motion, there's almost no limit to what you can create. Because it's not just about working toward a goal, it's about becoming that goal. Becoming the kind of person for whom that dream is natural, inevitable. Just look at nature, the ocean, the mountains, even a simple tree. These forces of nature don't become mighty overnight. It's the tiny, consistent acts, the waves hitting the shore, the roots digging into the earth, that create something truly awe-inspiring over time. And you are no different. You are a force of nature. You have the power to shape yourself, to create a life that reflects the deepest dreams within you. And it starts with these small, consistent choices. So ask yourself, what do I want to become unconsciously? What do I want to be so embedded in my life that it no longer feels like work, but like a part of me? Because that's the essence of transformation. It's about creating a routine that becomes so much a part of who you are that you can't imagine your life without it. So let's make our dreams a habit. Let's make them a part of our lives so deeply, so consistently, that they weave themselves into the very fabric of our being. Because the truth is, anything you do consistently, you will become unconsciously. All right, let's get right into it. I want you to take a deep breath, and as you exhale, let go of any lingering sense of limitation. Just set it down, let it fall away. Right now, let's enter a space where the impossible is not some far-off dream, but a close, tangible reality waiting to unfold. Because I'm here to tell you that the impossible, it only exists when you believe in limits. Yes, that's it. Limits aren't real, they're ideas, they're constructs we've accepted without question. Think about it, every single one of us has walked through life with limits stitched into our identity. Maybe we heard them from our parents, maybe from teachers, maybe from our own inner critic. You can't do this, or people like us aren't meant for that. These limits become invisible walls, ones we bump into over and over until we just stop trying to go any further. But what if, just what if, those walls were never real? What if they were only as solid as our belief in them? Let's try a little exercise here. Picture a time when you felt fully, totally in alignment with what you wanted. Maybe it was something you achieved, maybe it was a moment of clarity, or maybe it was a small thing you didn't even realize was possible until you didn't. Now hold on to that feeling, because in that state you weren't limited by any labels or doubts. You were free, expansive, and open. That's your true self, the self that exists without limits, without fear. It's like this, each limit is a wall, and each intentional step you take is a hammer chipping away at it. Pretty soon you'll find that wall has more gaps than solid ground, and that's when the light comes in. That's when the impossible becomes not just probable, but inevitable. But let me be real with you, this isn't about a quick fix. This isn't something you just try once and expect instant results. This is about making it your daily practice, a ritual, a routine. It's about putting in the time to break down those walls of doubt, of insecurity, of disbelief. Because here's a simple truth: if you're willing to show up daily, if you're willing to approach each day with this sense of purpose, the limits will start to fade on their own. You don't have to break through all at once, you just have to be steady, intentional, committed. Think about it like this: if you wanted to walk 1,000 miles, you wouldn't just leap in one giant bound, would you? No, you'd take it step by step. And those steps taken with determination would make the impossible journey not only possible, but certain. You'd get there not by focusing on the entire distance, but by focusing on each intentional stride. And it's the same with dissolving your limits. Each thought, each moment of mindfulness, each step toward possibility, that's how you make the impossible your reality. Here's a question I want you to consider. Who are you when you let go of limits? When you step out of the narrow confines of I can't, or I'm not enough, who do you become? See, limits are just labels we've glued onto ourselves. And just as easily as we put them there, we can take them off. You are not your limits. You are the awareness that observes those limits, that chooses to believe or not believe in them. And that awareness, that's your power, your freedom. Every day you get to choose. You get to ask yourself, am I going to listen to the voice that says no, or the one that says yes, because that voice of possibility, that whisper of yes, that's who you really are. Every step you take toward that voice, every time you listen to it, you're aligning with your limitless self. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I've tried this before. I've tried believing in myself, and I still hit roadblocks. I still have doubts into that. I say that's okay. It's all part of the journey. Every doubt, every obstacle, every time you face something that feels too big, it's all just part of dissolving those limits. Each moment of doubt is just an opportunity to affirm your truth a little louder, a little clearer. Here's a little secret: doubt is only as powerful as the energy you give to it. It can't stop you unless you let it. Instead, look at your doubt as a reminder that you're growing, that you're reaching into new territory. Every time you feel that doubt, that resistance, you know you're pushing past an old limit. And that is something to celebrate, because each time you do, you're closer to stepping fully into your power. Imagine you're a sculptor and your life is this block of marble. At first, it seems impossible. How could anything beautiful come from this big, unformed rock? But day by day, chip by chip, you carve away, you shape, you mold. You let go of what doesn't serve. You discard the layers that aren't true to your vision, and eventually a masterpiece begins to emerge. Your life is no different. With each intentional thought, each intentional action, you're carving out the impossible and making it not just real, but beautiful. So here's something to try. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before the noise of the day settles in, I want you to close your eyes and set one clear intention. Say to yourself, today, I release one limit. Today, I will take one step beyond what I thought was possible. And let that intention guide you, inform your actions, your thoughts, your choices. It doesn't have to be a big step, just a small intentional step. Something as simple as choosing kindness when you'd normally judge, or taking a risk where you'd normally hold back. Watch how, over time, these small steps begin to create a path, a road that leads to everything you thought you couldn't have. You know, there's a powerful thing that happens when you start living this way. You stop seeing barriers as things that hold you back, and instead you start seeing them as invitations to grow. Each limit becomes an opportunity to expand, to learn, to step into a new level of yourself. That's the magic of dissolving limits. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. And the beauty is, you don't have to do this alone. The universe, that great expansive energy that moves through all things, it's there with you, supporting you every step of the way. Every time you release a limit, the universe rushes in to fill that space with possibility. It's like a cosmic dance of partnership. You let go, and the universe lifts you higher. So let's make this our practice. Every day, dissolve one limit. Every day, let go of one doubt. Every day, take one step toward the impossible, not as something out of reach, but as something that's already within you, waiting to be brought forth. Because you are not here to live in smallness. You are not here to be bound by imaginary walls. You are here to expand, to explore, to experience the fullness of who you are. Let's decide right now together to make this our reality. To let our daily practice dissolve those barriers, one intentional step at a time. Because the impossible only exists when you believe in limits. And today, right now, we're choosing to believe in freedom, in possibility, in the unbounded potential that lives within each and every one of us. So let's get to it. Let's dissolve those barriers. One thought, one step, one intention at a time. The impossible doesn't stand a chance. All right, let's get right into this powerful idea. Your routine is the universe's cue to act. Think about that. When you show up, even for what feels just out of reach, life doesn't just sit back and watch. It starts to move in ways you might never have expected. You know, the universe is a listener. It's a silent but ever-present observer. And what's it listening to? It's not just your words or intentions. It's watching how you show up day in and day out. See, when you create a routine, you're sending out a powerful signal. You're telling the universe, I am serious about this. You're not just dabbling. You're not just hoping you're showing up, laying the groundwork for something larger. Imagine if every day you took a small, consistent step toward that vision. Every time you show up, you're reinforcing that signal, like tuning into a frequency. The universe catches on. It starts to understand, this is something you're committed to. Now, some might think, but Wayne, it's just a routine. It's just me repeating these steps, but don't underestimate the power of routine. Routine is a declaration. Routine is a calling card, a way of saying, this is the life I'm building. Even if the goal seems like it's a mountain too high to climb right now, when you show up daily, you're already halfway there. You're laying down that path, step by step. Let's get real here. How often do we say we want something, but we don't really make it a part of our lives? We hold this beautiful big vision in our hearts, but we keep it at arm's length. Why? Because sometimes the mind plays tricks on us. It says, this isn't for you yet. You're not ready, but the truth is, you become ready by showing up, by doing the thing, even if it feels like it's out of reach. When you make something a routine, you're closing that gap. You're bringing it closer, and with each step, it feels a little more possible. You know, there's something magical that happens when you commit to showing up, even on the days when you don't feel like it, when it seems pointless or when it feels like nothing's happening. That's when life starts to take notice. It's almost as if life is watching to see, will you stick with it even when it's hard? Even when it's inconvenient, and when you do, it starts to align things in ways that can seem miraculous. Here's a little story that brings this to life. Think of a time when you wanted to learn a new skill, maybe something like learning a musical instrument or mastering a sport. At first, every practice session might have felt like a struggle. You didn't sound good, you didn't feel smooth. But over time, showing up regularly started to change something. The struggle faded, and something beautiful started to emerge. You might even reach a point where you realize that what once felt impossible now feels natural. But here's the kicker: most people give up before they reach that point. Why? Because they don't realize that showing up, making that action routine, is the very thing that turns impossibility into reality. This is the universe's favorite game. It rewards the ones who stay consistent, who keep showing up no matter how long it takes. Every day you show up, you're aligning yourself with your goal. You're giving the universe that cue to say, they're serious about this. Let's help them along. And you know what's amazing? Your routine doesn't have to be big or flashy. In fact, it's often the small, almost unnoticeable actions that make the biggest difference. Think about water carving out a canyon. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens with steady, consistent flow. That's what you're doing when you establish a routine. You're carving out a path. You're creating momentum. And with that momentum, things start moving. Doors open. Opportunities appear. People you need to meet somehow find their way to you. But I want you to think about something for a moment. How many times have you let a dream drift away because you didn't see results fast enough? How often have we all done this? We start off excited, committed, but when the magic doesn't happen immediately, we think maybe it wasn't meant to be. But here's the truth: you were simply in the planting season. See, the universe has its own timing. Just because you don't see the results right away doesn't mean it's not working. Sometimes the universe wants to see if you'll keep watering the seeds, even if they're not sprouting yet. And here's the beautiful part: when you keep nurturing that dream, life begins to meet you halfway. I mean, the word impossible is only as powerful as you make it. When you show up and make the impossible part of your daily routine, it stops being this unattainable thing on a pedestal and starts becoming part of your reality. Think of it this way: your routine is like a handshake with the universe. Every time you show up, you're saying, I'm here, I'm committed, and the universe responds to that commitment. Just like in any relationship, it wants to see consistency, sincerity. It's almost like a dance, a beautiful exchange where every step you take forward allows life to move a little closer to you. Every routine, every action is a declaration that this is not just a wish, it's a commitment. And I want you to know something: you don't have to have it all figured out to start. You don't need to know every step of the journey. Just commit to the first step, then the next. Let that routine, that habit, be the guide. Because the more you show up, the clearer the path becomes. The universe begins to reveal itself in ways you couldn't plan or predict, but only if you're there, ready to receive it. So here's what I want you to do right now. Ask yourself, what's one small, manageable step I can take each day toward this seemingly impossible dream, and then commit to it. Let it become a part of you, something as natural as breathing. Because when you show up consistently, the impossible begins to look a little less daunting. It starts to feel inevitable. This is the power of routine. This is the universe's cue. You might not see the outcome today, tomorrow, or next week, but if you keep showing up, life will meet you. That's a promise. The routine itself becomes a magnet for everything you need for the ideas, the insights, the right people, the unexpected opportunities. And all because you had the courage to show up again and again, no matter what. So my friends, let's make a pact. Let's commit to showing up. Let's commit to being the architects of our own lives. Let's turn what once felt impossible into a routine so ingrained, so unshakable, that one day we look back and realize we're living the life we once dreamed about. Because when you give life that cue, when you create that routine, the universe will conspire to make it yours every single day. Just show up and watch what happens.